couple of years there, and then from there I went to New York, and from there I'm trying to think. I wish I had
My experience is my memory shelves are overstocked. There's too much stuff to sort it all out.
yeah. Well, let me see if I can pull up some addresses.
But you've been in Delaware now for good, what, 10 years or more.
Yeah, right.
So you're with Kendra as your youngest daughter?
Yes, right.
And how many kids did you have altogether?
Two daughters, Ivanica, the oldest,
Uh-huh.
and then Kendra a little bit later. And they have, Ivanica has two children, twins, a male and a female, and Kendra has a daughter. Their names are Lexi and Kyle. And
Where does Ivanica live?
she lives in Maryland, Boyd's, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
And Kendra lives in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I thought you lived with her in Delaware.
Well, no, this is, well, no, I live in Delaware.
But I thought
Kendra lives
that she lived there too. Didn't have that right.
no, she's, I'm trying to see if I can pull up some,
So you have three grandchildren?
right.
And now is their mother still on the scene or?
Yeah, so we stay in touch and get together on occasions.
Uh-huh.
And she lives in Maryland also, closely connected with all of us.
Mm-hmm. Well, my
So,
special interest, I don't know if you know where it led to after all the work was setting up the alliance and that part is the phenomenon that having children destroys most marriages in nuclear families. And from my own experience with two daughters, 21 years apart, and two different wives, and that's become my passion to understand that dynamic. And I'm curious, well, and also noticed that all of the major players who I worked with in the 70s involved with wellness had the same phenomenon, including Halbert Dunn, who was our inspiration back in the 60s and well, even the 40s when he split up with his wife and three sons. And wondering how it was for you when your daughters were born. Did you encounter the overwhelm of having kids?
no, actually, I got very much involved in the caring of both all two grandmothers. I recall spending considerable time helping Ivanica with the twins, and so I spent a whole summer there, or two, 5 or 6 months helping her with the twins, and then when we moved to upstate New York, where Kendra gave birth to upstate New York, and moved with her to that area. And so I've been fortunate to maintain close contact with my daughters and their children.
That's great. Well,
Yeah,
and what's your wife's name? Their mother.
Carla.
But as long as I've known you, you haven't been with her. So, what
Yeah, that's true.
what age were the kids when you separated?
Uh, Kendra was, I think, about 12 years of age, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and Ivanica was more like 15 or 16.
Oh, they're 10 years apart. Oh.
You know, they were up 6 years apart.
Uh-huh. So that's sounds like the classic what happens to relationships because I believe it takes 3.87 adults per infant to meet their needs. So the nuclear
Yeah,
family is a disaster.
exactly right.
Back to the all importance of the family and extended family and the village. So, well, another thing I wanted to ask about was you showed the Rockabye Baby in the Carter White House, as I recall. What in 70?
Yes, it was shown at the 1970 White House Conference on Children,
Uh-huh.
where it was premiered. And so it's been very popularly received.
And you were pretty much behind it getting made, or?
Yeah, I was heavily involved in the film, and I was responsible for selecting all the scientists worked in the field, except for the experimental nursery program that was filmed in Germany, West Germany, which focused on the importance of the one-to-one relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and so.
Did you actually ever know or meet Gene Liedloff? Because the two of you were like the 1-2 that got me waked up to all of this, but didn't know if
Uh,
you ever met her.
I'm trying to recall. I think I met her, but I
Didn't have much contact. How
no.
about Peter Cook? He's sort of the Australian version of you.
Yeah, I and Peter had very close relationships, and we had much extension of our work.
Oh,
So
good.
uh, we were kind of brothers in arms and that, and so he really. Was an Australian connection to my work.
Yes, I fortunately got to know him about 10 years ago, and I interviewed him on video. I can send you a link of it. And he
Yeah,
died about 3 or 4 years ago. And then last year or year after, his wife had a pretty bad stroke, and their son has been in contact with me, but she's not doing too well either. So I'm trying to capture all of this history before we move on. And um, that a lot of people today aren't going to realize where and how this started. I'd hoped to actually meet Mary Ainsworth when I moved to Charlottesville. She had just moved there, but she'd had a stroke, and Bob Marvin had brought her there from Baltimore because he'd been her graduate student, I guess, when they did the strange situation studies. But I never got to meet her. I just talked to her on the phone once.
Right.
But
Well, it's a long, long history.
yeah, trying to think of any
And
other historical things that we might drag in here. Um, what? Well, Mike Mendiza has been very supportive of your work and making videos.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a website on my work, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of postings there, and also with the original postage in West Germany. It's www.planets.de. It's Deutsch.
right, right.
That's the website there. And Micah was finishing a kind of a summary collective history of essays on this, which I'll be presenting to the International Primal Association meeting, which is being held at the Verdun Retreat Center.
Right near you.
Yeah, August 6th through the 12th, 2019.
Yeah, Tina Kimmel, my friend here, who I'm also going to interview, I met her the same time I met you at Kim's. And actually, no, I'd met you earlier, but I've been in contact with her, and she's been involved with Primal for a long time. So I think she was the one that tracked you down, found out you're right next door. So
Right.
I hope
Well, I
that
appreciate that.
I hope that goes well.
I do too.
So, well, I can't think of much else. We're about at the top of the hour, but it's been a delight, and I want to just thank you again for how much you've influenced my work and my life. And I remember, yeah, early on when after I met you and I was dealing with depression, which has been my defense mechanism since early childhood. I was
Right.
65 before I feel like I really reinvented myself. But you prescribed getting a rocking chair and a porch swing, and I actually got a good old Virginia farmhouse porch swing. We were living, living in Virginia at the time, and I wound up actually taking it to Australia, where it still is. And I hooked it up so I could sit at the dining room table and swing it sideways, which made it a lot easier to continue conversation because I was always eat and run, and
Right.
Having the therapy of swinging in the porch swing made it a lot easier to sit and talk. So I became a lot more sociable with my wife and daughter, as
Right.
thanks to your ideas.
Well, thank you. And I remember with the two children of Ivanka, of the many hours I spent with them on the swing.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, because they were obviously not getting enough vestibular-sensory stimulation. So I was
good for you.
I was fortunate, to be able to play that role, and it goes a long way to explain why we still have strong affectional bonds with my daughters and their children, and so it's been a fruitful journey in many ways.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've fought the good fight, and
And still fighting.
yeah. Well, I just wanted to capture some of the background for future generations who hopefully will get a chance to hear you. And thank you again, Jim. That's been great.
Well, thanks for calling me. me and including me in your history. Um,
My pleasure.
so you can bring my history up to date on.
I'll do what I can on Wikipedia. They want documentation for everything, so I'm not sure. I might have to find your birth certificate somewhere, but we should be able to at least get you born in the right time.
Right, and I'm trying to think.
Actually, there's good
I could
references.
send you an email of essentially my progress of both academic and achievements and so forth, if that would be a help. And let's see what you can do with that.
Okay, yeah, I've got trouble with my website. People keep changing it and doing things that are wrong, and I'm not allowed to edit my own website, so I have to
Oh,
sit
really?
there and watch distortions happen that drive me wild.
Right, okay.
Well, again, thanks, Jim, and take care.
Right, you too. And let's stay in touch.
Okay, bye.
Okay.